Paul Pachter, the CEO of Long Island Cares and the Harry Chapin Regional Food Bank, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Bread, our YouTube program in which we bring you inside the workings of the Regional Food Bank, some of the different programs and services we provide, as well as exploring services right here on Long Island that are important, especially to our residents in need. We're coming to you from the brand new Breaking Bread production space at Long Island Care Center for Community Engagement in Hauppauge. And today my guest is Bill Blackford. Bill is the president and CEO of a wonderful nonprofit organization called Melissa's Wish. Bill, welcome. It's great to see you, my friend.
Pleasure to be here, Paul. Thank you.
Bill, what is Melissa's Wish and why did you start this 3-4 years ago?
4 years ago now, yes. Melissa's Wish was conceived by my daughter Melissa in the final days of a battle with cancer. In her wisdom, she recognized the difficulties the caregiver has in providing care, resources, and all that their loved ones need in a difficult time. So she asked her mom and I if we could help the caregivers of those suffering a serious illness, injury, or end-of-life event.
And in the last few years since you established the organization, what kind of families, not really what kind of families, we know who the families are, but give us a sense as to why they're turning to Melissa's Wish and what is it they need?
It's an amazing, I still marvel at Melissa's wisdom today because we don't focus on one thing. We don't focus on a particular cancer or a particular illness. Situations are all different. We've had car accidents. We've had catastrophic illnesses. We've many different things. And people just get themselves into difficulty, financial difficulty. We all know the cost of medical bills and long hospital stays. And then there's all the ancillary stuff of care, and people have to go to work, bills have to be paid. So we find ourselves in a situation where there's no two cases alike, and every one is different. We've made mortgage payments for people that are about to lose their homes. We've helped with car payments. We've made arrangements for people to get to work. We've provided a piece of equipment to make the caregiver's life a little easier, like a chairlift to get the patient up and down the stairs, and we've helped with bathroom modifications. So when the phone rings, we never know what we're gonna come across, and they're all heartwarming. They're truly heartwarming.
How does a family find you, in order to get support? I'm assuming, well, I'm not assuming, I know you have a website, but do you find that most of the referrals you get are from people who are searching for you online, or it's word of mouth because you've done such good work with one family, they refer another family?
Well, it's a little of everything. A couple of our members, one of our members was Melissa's primary care doctor. We get referrals from her. Another one of our members was Melissa's hospice nurse, and we get referrals from them. But a lot of it is word of mouth. As you know, Dee Snyder has helped us promote Melissa's Wish, and some folks like Elisa Stefano has made us aware. So I get phone calls, word of mouth, from all different sources, and it's truly heartwarming. My fear is us outpacing our ability to raise funds,
Sure.
so it's. But that always seems to work itself out too. When things start to get a little tight, we get a good influx of some resources. So
when a family contacts you for help with one of their needs, what's the next step? Do you perform an assessment? Do you meet with the family in person? And do you develop a formal plan of action with them with a beginning, a middle, and an end? Take me inside the intake process.
Sure, that's a great question. It usually starts with a phone call. I get most of the phone calls, and first thing we do is have a conversation on the phone just to get a feel for what the situation is. We are limited to what we can do. We don't pay medical bills directly.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure that there's an understanding. But it usually leads to a sit down with these folks. Our biggest fear is we don't want to take our limited funds and give it to somebody that's got 3 Ferraris in the garage. And so we want to make sure that the situation is as it's represented. And it's always heartwarming to meet with the folks one-on-one on their turf. And that's what we do. We usually have an initial plan that we think will get them out of some immediate trouble, but in some cases we have gone back again and helped them a second time because the situation has changed or something has come up. So it's and these have become friends. We stay in touch. I often follow up with phone calls. How are they doing? How's everything? How's the family? How's the patient? And it's truly they're part of the family now.
That's
People
such
volunteer
Yep.
and help us out. And
That's a really important thing. The fact that once you provide the service, once you provide the support, that you don't go away, that you're there, post-service. You're there to, just hear about how's it going, to let the family know that you're still here as a support network for them. Because even though the family might have received the service, there's still issues. There's still some trauma in their lives as to, okay, so I got a chairlift, now what? What about a problem a year from now, 6 months from now? So I think that's a critical step. As a parent that has lost a child yourself, this has got to take an emotional impact on you.
it does, and it is heartwarming. It's difficult at times. We come across all situations. We've been working with a little girl who just turned 5 years old. She has a genetic skin disorder where the skin on her body doesn't form fully. And she's been for stem cell transplants, and we've been in touch with the family over the last 2 years, and we're watching this little lady grow. And my wife and I went over to the house, and we met with the family on their turf, and I watched what the mom has to go through to get this little adorable little girl ready for the day. And it starts with a vinegar bath and gauze. She's wrapped in gauze like a burn victim, and this is all just to start their day. This isn't going to change. The situation's not going to change. So we stay in touch, and it's led to not just financial support, but moral support as well.
I think the moral support many times is just as important as the financial support. Again, as I said, the family knowing that Melissa's wish is there, should they need them, should they have a question. Do you find in the work that you're doing that there are any obstacles in the community that you'd like to try and overcome on behalf of these families?
Yeah, I think there's to your point, there's a bigger issue at play here. The initial financial problems create a lot more stress, but in many cases, we've found that the caregiver needs additional support, not just financial support, but moral support. We've gotten folks involved in Reiki, and some other services just so they can calm down and keep going. And
People have to pay attention to their own wellness.
Absolutely, and that's a big deal, because when you're a caregiver and you're in the midst of this, you don't have time to slow down and think in those terms. Melissa's journey was a long one, and she spent a lot of time in hospice and hospitals, and a caregiver gets beaten up, and we understand that, we can relate to that, so we try and provide that moral support in there as well, not just the financial support.
If a family is in need, how would they go about reaching you?
The easiest way to reach us is melissaswish.org. We have a website. It's very easy to navigate. And people can reach us. We'll direct them to either the website to file a request for help or the phone number for the office.
So I'm curious, you work with families, and these are families who are going through some very difficult times, and you're making visits to the family, assessing the situation. What about the families themselves and their social support system? Because I've heard many times, especially with children with chronic illnesses, terminal illnesses, traumatic injuries where communications become an issue, that many times the families feel alone. And so there aren't the extended family members there to help them. Are you seeing that, or it doesn't seem to be an issue for you?
No, it is an issue. We're fortunate in that I have a few connections with people that were in the Hospice Network that have some avenues, if you will, to some services that we might not be aware of. So that's been helpful, but it's not enough. That's a bigger problem, and that I think is ripe for an opportunity to improve it. And as we grow and get a little better each year at what we're doing, those are the resources I would like to add to our organization to point them in the right direction. In some cases, there's funds available or resources available or counseling available, but we don't know what we don't know, and so we're constantly growing.
And you, the organization, you have a board of directors, which is a wonderful thing because hopefully they're there and supporting the organization and advocating and raising awareness. But you also recently, the organization moved into new space.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Yes, we did. We had an opportunity to participate in Long Island Care's Center for Community Engagement, and I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for Long Island Cares, and as I've mentioned this to you, you want to be a winner, you got to hang around with winners. So, being invited to this space here, this beautiful space that we're in, is a big deal for us because it one gives us a little more credibility, but it's also a great place to hold events and have our meetings and be on TV.
And we are just so pleased that you are here. And we are open to hearing from other nonprofit organizations, grassroots, upstart groups, just like Melissa's Wish, who's made such a wonderful impact and a difference in 4 short years, in spite of all the celebrity power you have behind you with people like Dee Snider, who's a great friend to both our organizations. One more time, the website is melissaswish.org. If you call there, Bill Blackford's going to call you right back as soon as he gets a chance. If you're seeing, if you're witnessing, if you're experiencing some of the issues that Bill and I just spoke about, don't sit back. Go onto the web, visit melissaswish.org, and see what kind of support they can provide you. Bill, it's been a pleasure to have you with me, and I hope we do this again. Until the next time, this is Paule Pachter, CEO of Long Island Cares. Thanks for joining us on Breaking Bread. We'll see you again.